Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to cover the last topic of nuclear chemistry and radioactivity. This is totally a theoretical. I have prepared the notes. Make a clear copy of it, and if you are having any difficulty, let me know. So we will start with the first part, application of radioisotopes. Radioisotopes are those which are radioactive elements, and these radioactive elements, as we know, spontaneously emits alpha, beta and gamma radiation, which can be used for constructive as well as destructive purposes. So first is radiocarbon dating. What is radiocarbon dating? Radiocarbon dating is the technique used to find the age of historical or archaeological organic samples. Organic samples are those samples which are of living organisms. Living organisms can be of wood, or it can be plants, it can be animals, or it can be even human beings, human fossils. In this process, what we will do, we will try to measure the quantity of C14, the radioactive carbon. And how we are going to measure it? By using the formula T is equal to 2.303 upon lambda log N0 upon N to the base 10. What is N0? The fresh sample of the living plant or human or animals at time T0. So we will try to find out how much quantity of C14 is there in a living organism, and we will compare with N, the given sample of wood or dead remains of human or animals at that time, and that time we need to calculate. This time we need to calculate in years. And what is lambda? Decay constant. This decay constant is nothing but lambda upon 6.93 upon T-half. This formula and this formula we have already used. It is half-life formula. We know C14 has a half-life of 5730 years, means 5730 years. C14 is decayed to 50%. So if we put in this formula lambda, we get the value of lambda 1.21 into 10 to the power minus 4 per year. Now after putting the value in the formula of T, 2.303 upon 1.21 10 to the power minus 4 log N0 upon N. We know the value of N from the living organism. We know the value of N from the sample which was collected. We can get the value of T. So first of all, how or why C14 is there in the living organism or in the organic matter? So what happened in the upper layer of the atmosphere, nitrogen 7N14 is bombarded with the neutron. This bombardment is taking place by means of cosmic rays. Cosmic rays are those rays which are being generated by sun. Sun generate cosmic rays, tremendous heat and pressure. Under that condition, nitrogen is bombarded with neutron and we get radioactive carbon 6C14 and one hydrogen atom. This 6C14 get combined with the living plants, combines with the oxygen to form carbon dioxide, radioactive carbon dioxide C14. And this carbon dioxide get mixed with ordinary carbon dioxide, and the plants during photosynthesis fix this carbon C14. And this is how the carbon dioxide passes to plants, and plants when eaten by the living organisms like animals or humans get transferred to human body. So this is how the radioactive carbon dioxide remains, and the ratio of C14 to C12 is always constant in plants and animals, because till humans, plants or animals or living organisms are alive, they are continuously eating the food, they are continuously fixing the carbon dioxide, and this is how this ratio remains constant. But when they die, what happens? This ratio decreases, and this is how we can calculate from the half-life period. So, and we know the half-life of the radioactive carbon C14 5730, and this is how we can get it. And what happened? The reverse reaction takes place. 6C14 get converted into again nitrogen and moves back into the space, that is atmosphere, and one electron is released. So the reverse of this reaction takes place, and this C14 is again getting converted back into the nitrogen. The second application of the radioactive isotopes are in medicine. We know there are several radioactive isotopes which can be used to treat cancer. These radioactive isotopes are used in two ways. Number one, in diagnostic purposes. Diagnostic purposes means to diagnose the cancer. So what we do, we use short-lived isotopes which limits the exposure time to radiation and helps in diagnosis of the cancer. That means where the cancer is located, what types of the cell, or what is the structure of cancer cell, how much it has spread into the body, and etc., which is needed for the next advanced stage, which is called as therapeutic purposes. The second use is therapeutic purposes. Therapeutic, as the name suggests, it is used to destroy the abnormal cells or cancer cells. So they pass these radioactive isotope radiation directly onto the cell, and these radiation kills the abnormal cells or cancer cell, which is called as radiation. And this is how it is used. The next application in agriculture, to preserve the agricultural products. Because what happen, whatever, suppose take the example of food grains, we are stocking food grains like wheat, jawar, corn, etc., even fruits and vegetables. But what happens, they get decomposed by means of microorganisms. So they pass these particular food grains through gamma rays, and these gamma rays are from cobalt 60 or cadmium 137. And when these rays are passed on, so it kills all the microorganisms and the food is preserved for a long period of time. Even in India, we are using this type of preservative techniques. Then the next application is in radio tracer technique. Radio tracer technique is that technique in which we are using a radioactive element or radioactive isotope in a chemical reaction so as to trace the path of the chemical reaction, even to study the structure of the compound. We have already taken the example of this what is that, fructose, glucose, structure of fructose, what is the structure of glucose or fructose. So we are using these radioactive tracers even to check, like even in photosynthesis we have used radioactive isotopes to check like from where we are getting that carbon in the glucose form. So these are the different techniques to trace the elements. Now we'll talk about application of nuclear fission. Nuclear isotopes we have already studied, and nuclear fission. We know nuclear fission is nothing but when the heavy element splits by means of bombardment of neutron into lighter elements which generate huge amount of energy. And this energy can be used for two purposes. The first purpose is nuclear fission for making atom bombs for destructive purposes and other radioactive weapons. Nowadays much research is going on in the radioactive bombs and this hydrogen bomb, atom bomb, and it is a destructive purpose. But here we are interested in peaceful purpose, that is nuclear power plant to generate electricity. What is the importance of nuclear power plant? Number one, zero or no emission of carbon dioxide, that is a greenhouse gas. Zero or no emission of sulfur and oxides of nitrogen, which is creating what we can say acid rain and the other environmental pollution problems. Again, it is a clean and green energy or clean and green electricity we can say, which is used to generate huge amount of energy can be produced by very less amount. Let's take the example, 1 gram of uranium 235 can produce 24,000 kilowatt hour of energy. Same energy we can produce by using 3 tons of coal. Imagine 3 tons or 12 barrels of oil. I am talking about barrel, it is not a liter. Or it can be used for 5,000 meter cube of natural gas. So this much amount can be obtained only by 1 gram of uranium. So it is very we can say cost effective and environment friendly. Number two, next number is natural resources are getting depleted, like petroleum, coal, gas, they are going to get exhausted. Hence we need this type of nuclear energy to for our survival. Even if we go for hydroelectric power plant uses water from the dams. Again, water is much more essential, we cannot able to lose the water, hence this is the best option to get the nuclear power. Now we will talk about working of nuclear power plant. So before starting working, I have divided this into two parts. Number one is construction. So what it require, nuclear reactor which is used to heat the plant. It is the heart of the plant, sorry. Nuclear reactor is the heart. Number two, nuclear reactor uses nuclear fuel such as uranium 235 or plutonium 239. which is arranged or stacked with the heavy water D2O. I think everyone knows D is deuterium. D2O is deuterium oxide. Like we are having water H2O, deuterium D2O is a heavy water. Along with deuterium, we are using graphite as a moderator. And what is moderator? We will learn in the next part. Then cadmium rods are inserted in the moderator, means in graphite, cadmium rods are inserted. And what is the purpose of cadmium in moderator? We will study now in working. I want that you people should draw the figure 13.4 A and B on the page number 200. Working. How the nuclear reactor works? First of all, as the nuclear fuel is bombarded, nuclear fuel means uranium-235 or plutonium-235. When it is bombarded with neutron, the nuclear fission starts, which generates huge amount of heat and energy. This heat heats the heavy water, and when this heavy water is heated, it is passed through the heat exchanger. I think everyone knows heat exchanger. Heat exchanger has two pipes. In one pipe, we pass the heated material, and in the other pipe we get the material to be heated. So heavy water heats the normal water H2O, and this normal water is getting converted into steam, and when it gets converted into steam, this superheated steam is passed over the blades of turbine, which rotates and generates electricity. But what happened during the nuclear fission reaction? The radioactive products produce more neutrons. We have already studied when the uranium is bombarded with a neutron, it gives three neutrons, and these three neutrons again bombard three different uranium, which again generate 9 neutron, and this is how the chain reaction starts, and it becomes uncontrollable. But we need to control it, so we are using moderator. The graphite first of all reduces the speed of fast moving neutron, and cadmium absorbs neutron. So how much neutrons are generated? We absorb the neutron. As we absorb the neutron, the nuclear fission reaction slows down, and if nuclear reaction slows down, heat is controlled. If suppose we want more heat, so we remove cadmium rods from the reactor. As we remove cadmium rods, more neutrons are generated. More neutrons causes more heat, and we increase the heat. So this is how we can control the heat. It is accelerator or brake, and moderator and cadmium rods are used to generate the heat, which is used for peaceful and controlled manner. We already know that if suppose this reactor is unable to control, then the nuclear bomb, the reactor becomes a nuclear bomb and it get exploded. So to control it, we need moderator, and this is how we control the temperature, and we are using it. One more thing I want to clarify: why we are using heavy water or deuterium oxide? Why not normal water? Because heavy water has the ability to absorbs more heat, and it never get heated fast. Because normal water, if we use for this particular radiation, then it may create problem. Normal water may get deteriorated, it generate more steam, and the reactor may burst. So we are using heavy water as a coolant, and it cools the reactants, that means the nuclear fission reaction, and itself get heated, and this heat we use for generating steam, and steam are used for generation of electricity by moving the blades of turbine. So this is how we have covered the topic of nuclear chemistry. The next chapter, the new chapter, we are going to start tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. Complete all the notes. I have already given you all the notes and video clips. Go through it. If you are having any difficulty, let me know. Even the question answers are there on the back of the textbook. Go through it. If you are having any problem, let me know. Allah Hafiz.